Also, many people don't know it, but one of Marty's eyebrows were used to make the Mohawk. Look at his eyebrow and tell me that's not that same Mohawk.
I'm Tyler, this is CinemaTyler Show, and today we're looking at this. One of the most famous moments in Scorsese's Taxi Driver is that camera tilt to reveal that Travis Bickle, a man who is slowly losing it,
the man who would not take it anymore,
has shaved his head into a psycho mohawk. But did you know that this was actually a wig? And you can go visit it. I never realized it was a wig until I first saw it in person, and I was like,
what's that supposed to be, some kind of sick joke?
I mean, did they like shave his mohawk off and then like make it into a wig just to show it at this museum or something? The thing that blew my mind is that not only is this a wig, but De Niro is also wearing a bald cap. He has a full head of hair under there. De Niro wasn't actually able to shave his head because he was just about to start a new movie and he needed a full head of hair.
Oh yeah?
So let's pay our respects to this magnificent relic in the Church of Cinema.
Yeah, the reason he had to do it as a wig, he couldn't cut his hair because we were shooting so fast because he had to go on to do The Last Tycoon. And so we had to make a wig, and Dick Smith was the one who did it.
That's right, the wig was made by legendary makeup artist Dick Smith, who also did the old age makeup for The Godfather, The Exorcist, Amadeus, and a ton of other stuff. So the production had Dick Smith do a test, and it worked. Scorsese said in a panel with Robert De Niro, "I remember I was in the other room and I had fallen asleep while he was working on the headpiece or whatever it is. And then I felt a tap on my shoulder and I opened my eyes and you were there in this thing, and it was terrifying."
So this is the Museum of the Moving Image, which you'll recognize from a couple of my other videos, but the wig is right in there, so let's go check it out. And here it is. This is the Mohawk from Taxi Driver. It was a gift from Dick Smith. And you can see that the wig is still affixed to the bald cap that De Niro wore. And not a lot of many people know this, but it's kind of like a seashell. If you put your ear up to it, you can kind of... Can you hear that? Yeah. So you can see here, this is the kind of adhesive that they use to glue the wig onto the bald cap. But this vial here, this is actually little pieces of hair that they would kind of spray onto the bald cap when there's glue on it to kind of make that stubble effect. But what's interesting is that most of the stubble was actually drawn on with an eyebrow pencil by Dick Smith himself.
Apparently, they made sure to make it look like Travis did it to himself instead of a professional job. That's why it looks a little scraggly. Yeah, kinda looks like a merkin. But, you know, Robin Williams already made that joke, so let's never speak of it again. It's crazy to think that Dick Smith was able to make this look realistic. I mean, the guy was a freaking genius. Never thought I'd be so excited to see some hair glued to a piece of rubber, but here we are. Now, as you remember, Travis is a Vietnam veteran. In an interview, De Niro said, "A friend of Scorsese's who was in Special Forces at that time would do halo, high-altitude diving, into Cambodia or Laos or whatever. And he showed us a picture of he and his outfit, and a couple guys had mohawks, or at least one or two of them did, as I remember." The friend's name was Victor Magnotta, who told Scorsese and De Niro about the significance of the mohawk in the American military over dinner. Magnotta was a stuntman, and sadly, he died while performing a stunt for a 1987 movie called The Squeeze. What's interesting is that the hairstyle doesn't come from the Mohawk or Mohican tribes of Native Americans, but instead it more resembles the hairstyles from a tribe known as the Pawnee. The mix-up came from an old 1939 Hollywood movie called Drums Along the Mohawk with Henry Fonda. The Mohawk and Iroquois Confederacy of Tribes actually had a square patch of hair on the back of their head. The hair was pulled out bit by bit instead of shaved to get this look. World War I was the first time that American soldiers were required to fully shave their beards and cut their hair to a maximum of 1 inch long. One of the main reasons for this was so that they could get a good seal on their gas masks, which were so key for their survival. In World War II, many members of the 101st Airborne Division Screaming Eagles wore a Mohawk haircut. This paratrooper division was one of the most important to the Allies' victory in the war. Half of the men who volunteered were killed, wounded, or captured during the D-Day jump, but the mission was a success. These guys are from the Filthy 13, a demolition section of the 101st Airborne Division. Every single one of them wore a Mohawk haircut. The Filthy 13 were called that because they would go a whole week without bathing at a time because they wanted to use the water rations for cooking the animals they killed from a local estate. They wore the Mohawks in war paint because Sergeant James McNeese was part Choctaw. The life of James McNeese was used as inspiration for the Dirty Dozen. It seems that historically, the main purpose for the appropriated Mohawk hairstyle is to intimidate. Travis's haircut is supposed to signify that the person that Travis kept hidden for so long is finally coming out. You'll remember that the first time we see him with the Mohawk is when he's really considering assassinating Palantine. The screenwriter Paul Schrader talked about writing about Travis as a form of, quote, self-therapy. He said, "There was a person I was afraid of becoming." It really does show that art has therapeutic powers. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because next time we're going to be talking about the insane production of Tarkovsky's Stalker. And head on over to Patreon, where I made a little video of me trying to recreate the taxi driver Mohawk using some cheap materials from a costume shop.